Candice. Hello?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Harnessing Artificial Intelligence for the Future of Tourism, hosted by NIHIST in collaboration with the TTMag. My name is Candice Hector, and I will be guiding this morning's session. A special welcome to our distinguished speakers, guests, and participants. We are pleased to welcome representatives from government ministries, agencies, and the wider tourism and technology sectors. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of this important conversation as we explore how artificial intelligence continues to reshape the global tourism landscape. To begin this morning's program, I now invite Ms. Julie David, NIHIS's acting president, to deliver brief opening greetings. Ms. David.
Good morning to the viewing public. A special welcome to the NIHIS management and staff, Trinidad and Tobago Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group Board of Directors, and the TTMag membership, and our distinguished panelists. It is a pleasure to join you today for this timely discussion on harnessing artificial intelligence for the future of tourism. As we know, artificial intelligence is reshaping industries across the world, and tourism is no exception. from data-driven marketing and predictive analytics to personalized travel experiences and smarter destination management. AI offers powerful tools to improve efficiency, innovation, and visitor satisfaction. As a driving force behind technological adoption and advancement, NIHIS is pleased to collaborate with the Trinidad and Tobago Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group, TTMAG, for this timely webinar. This webinar brings together tourism and technology experts, policymakers, and other key stakeholders. It is designed to introduce the concept of AI and its relevance to the tourism sector, discuss innovative AI applications in hospitality, travel planning, customer service, and destination management, as well as highlight the opportunities and challenges of implementing AI in tourism. The information generated by NIHIS on this topic is part of a larger body of research work currently being refined for release on mapping the innovation pathway of the tourism sector in Trinidad and Tobago. NIHIS is pleased to share these research findings, and we envisage that valuable opportunities will emerge from today's session. Collaborations such as this are vital in bridging research and practice, ensuring that technologies such as AI directly support the needs of our industries and communities. May this webinar on harnessing artificial intelligence for the future of tourism inspire new ideas, foster meaningful partnerships, and drive innovations that empower our tourism sector in our beautiful Twin Islands to thrive in the age of artificial intelligence. Thank you for joining us. We warmly welcome your active participation, as your insights and contributions are vital to enriching our discussions today.
Thank you, Ms. David, for setting the tone for today's discussion. We now welcome Mr. Dave Gosain to bring greetings on behalf of the TTMAG. Mr. Gosain.
Thank you, Candice. Good morning, distinguished guests, tourism professionals, technology enthusiasts, and our partner, NIHIS. Welcome to this exciting webinar on harnessing artificial intelligence for the future of tourism, a topic that sits at the heart of our industry's future transformation. I am Dev Gosain, Chair of the Trinidad and Tobago Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group, TTMAG, and it's my pleasure to welcome you this morning to this important discussion about how AI is revolutionizing the way we experience and manage, promote tourism in a beautiful Twin Island nation and beyond. Why does this matter now? As we stand at the crossroads of technological innovation and tourism recovery, AI presents unprecedented opportunities for our sector, with enhanced visitor experiences through personalized recommendations and smart services, operational efficiency in hotels, attraction, and transportation, data-driven insights for better destination management, sustainable tourism practices through predictive analytics, competitive advantage in the global tourism marketplace. The Trinidad and Tobago Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group and NIHIS bring together diverse voices, from hoteliers to tour operators to researchers, technology innovators, government agencies, and community leaders. We believe that the future of tourism lies in collaborative innovation, where world-renowned Caribbean hospitality meets cutting-edge technology. To those listening who share our passion for advancing tourism through innovation, we invite you to become part of our growing community. The Trinidad and Tobago Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group is more than an organization. We are a catalyst for positive change in our tourism and internet governance ecosystem. Our organization is dedicated to fostering collaboration among various stakeholders in not only the tourism sector, but in other sectors, including civil society, academia, government, commercial business, technical community, ICT civil society, and foreign-based organizations, empowering them to harness technology for growth and positive impact. By becoming a member of the Trinidad and Tobago Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group, you will have the opportunity to engage with fellow innovators locally, regionally, share your insights, and contribute to shaping the future of internet governance in our beautiful Twin Islands. Details can be found on our website, mag.tt. That's simply mag.tt. What we'll explore today in the next, well, 90 or 80 minutes, we will discover real-world AI applications, transforming tourism experiences, success stories from destinations similar to ours, practical implementation strategies for businesses of all sizes, opportunities for partnership and knowledge sharing, network with industry leaders and innovators, access to cutting-edge research and best practices, influence policy and strategic direction, collaborate and transformative projects, shape the future of the Caribbean tourism. So let's begin. Today's conversation is just the beginning. Today we can harness the power of AI to create more sustainable, inclusive, and profitable tourism that showcases the very best of Trinidad and Tobago to the world. Let's now dive into the future of tourism. Welcome. Let's explore the possibilities together. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gosain, for such warm greetings. NIHIS certainly values the partnership with the TTMAG. And we're also very excited about the insights that will be shared today. So at this point, it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote presenters, Mr. Mandela Sealy and Ethan Blash of NIHIS's Policy Research and Intelligence Unit, who will present on the benefits of AI in tourism. This session will examine how AI is transforming visitor experiences, streamlining operations, and enhancing the overall competitiveness of tourism destinations. Ethan and Mandela, the floor is all yours.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Mandela Sealy, and I'm here with my colleague.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ethan Blash, and we are research officers attached to the Policy Research and Intelligence Department at NIHIS, the National Institute of Higher Education, Research, Science, and Technology.
It is our honor today to present to you our study titled, What are the Benefits of AI in Tourism? A case study in Trinidad and Tobago's tourism industry. In this presentation, we will highlight how artificial intelligence is transforming tourism globally and explore its potential to revolutionize Trinidad and Tobago's tourism landscape. First, we're going to start off with my colleague going through our problem statement.
The island of Trinidad and Tobago is facing a complex set of challenges, such as fragmented leadership, low service quality, underinvestment, and operating in silos, to name a few. Artificial intelligence is seen as an enabler to advancing the performance of various areas of tourism for Trinidad and Tobago. This segment of research stems from a bigger focus on the sectoral innovation mapping of Trinidad and Tobago's tourism industry. It is important to focus on artificial intelligence because it is a part of the fourth industrial revolution, which is integrated in our day-to-day interactions at home, work, and in the public domain. Now my colleague will discuss the research purpose.
This research pursues two primary objectives. First, to analyze the application of AI within the global tourism context and understand its transformative impact on areas such as hospitality, travel, and destination management. Second, to identify the opportunities and challenges of integrating AI technologies within Trinidad and Tobago's tourism industry, with the goal of informing local innovation and strategic policy development. So in simpler terms, the research bridges theory and practice, connecting international benchmarks with local realities. Now my colleague will get into our theoretical framework.
The research is grounded in theoretical framework. This framework is called diffusion of innovations theory. This theory explains how innovation is diffused in a social system through different phases. American sociologist Everett Rogers, known for diffusion of innovations theory, coined in 1962, explains how, why, and at what rate new ideas and technology spreads through a social system. Rogers, in his seminal work, was observing how different farmers adopted new practices and innovations, and now it serves as a framework for the adoption of innovations across many economic sectors. Now, my colleague will explain how to identify the different categories of diffusions of innovation theory.
There are 5 adopter categories which I'm going to go through this morning, and here's an image which could help you follow along. So first we have the innovators, and these are the people who are always looking for the next big idea. They have a natural affinity to risk, and they're the ones who are very tech savvy, but also very financially capable because they have the wherewithal to absorb a potential loss of a failed innovation. Next, we have the early adopters. These people are the trendsetters and the respected opinion leaders. They're very proactive about transformation, and they also possess a very deep understanding of the necessity of innovation. However, they're a little more cautious than the innovators. Thirdly, we have the early majority. As you can see, is the largest category. So the early majority, they are not really considered pioneers, but they will still accept the innovations sooner than the average person. And they also tend to avoid very high risk and focus more on the reliability and the practicality of that particular innovation. Fourth, we have the late majority. And these are the people who are somewhat skeptical about new innovations, and they only adopt it after the vast majority has already done so. These people are very risk averse, and they need strong evidence of the success and the reliability of that innovation because they don't have the resources to absorb a failed innovation like how the innovators do. And lastly, we have the laggards. And these are the people that are deeply rooted in tradition. They're highly skeptical of any new innovation, and they only trust their familiar methods. So they usually have very limited finances and access to information. So that means that it's required for them to get extensive proof of utility and kind of have to pitch to their more emotional side to get them to accept a new type of innovation. So now I'm going to take a page out of the book of Mr. Leslie Leafook, and I want everyone to look at the image here. So we go from 1 to 5, innovators being 1 and laggards being 5. And I want you to put in the chat which category you think you are a part of, and also you could put in which category you think your place of work is a part of. Let's see his numbers. Oof. Not interesting numbers. Nice. Okay, so now my colleague is going to go on about what is innovation.
Innovation is not a linear process because it is dynamic, complex, and activities do not follow a linear pattern. But what is innovation? Innovation, by definition, is a new or improved product, process, systems, and services introduced by a firm. AI is an innovation that dates back to as early as the 1950s, and it is a transformative force for the tourism sector and other ancillary sectors, such as agriculture, health, and others. Now, my colleague will identify the participants of innovation and explain how AI is a transformative force in the tourism sector.
So as my colleague just mentioned, innovation is not a linear process. However, at each stage, it involves different characters. And I'm going to go through about 5 of these characters. this morning. So first we have the researchers and scientists. These are the people that conduct basic and applied research to generate new knowledge, theories, and prototypes. Then we have the inventors and the entrepreneurs. These are the people who develop the novel ideas or inventions. They often translating research into practical applications. Then we have the university and research institutions. These provide infrastructure, funding, and expertise for foundational research. Then fourthly, we have the government and policymakers, which fund research, create innovation-friendly policies, and also provide incentives for future research. And lastly, we have the media and influencers who are tasked with shaping the public's perception and awareness when it comes to tourism. And when we look at the AI being a transformative force within tourism, we have to make a distinct, we have to be able to understand the difference between transformative AI and disruptive AI. Because transformative AI, it helps builds on what is already there and strengthens it for the future, while disruptive AI sort of destroys what's there to make space for something new. And that is something we're going to talk more about later on in this presentation.
Let us take a deeper dive into AI to understand how it is adopted globally in the tourism sector. Artificial intelligence has been embedded in tourism research and industry practice for more than 2 decades, with its early applications emerging in the late 1990s. At this time, discriminative AI models, which is a type of machine learning designed to classify or categorize existing data by learning the differences and boundaries between various classes, were introduced primarily to enhance predictive analytics and forecasting. Across the tourism sector now, AI is rooted in both operational and strategic functions. These tools help businesses better understand emotions, adjust service delivery, and craft more personalized visitor experiences. Now, 2 examples of this would be airline companies who use AI systems to predict peak travel periods, which allows them to quickly adjust their fares, and then internationally branded 3- and 4-star hotels. They often use predictive AI to estimate occupancy, enhance seasonal packaging, and shape targeted customer offers. Now my colleague will touch on AI in tourism and hospitality.
AI has become an indispensable tool in the global tourism and hospitality industry. There are 2 types of AI systems, which I'm going to cover today. One is the purely digital, also known as bots, and the other type is the digital physical hybrids, also known as robots. So an example of a purely digital AI would be the check-in systems, the virtual itinerary assistants, and of course, the most commonly known, the chatbots. And these chatbots are considered one of the greatest changes to the tourism and hospitality industry. So chatbots are programs that engage in conversation using human language, and it allows tourists to book hotels, manage trips, and even find the cheapest flights. So an example of a chatbot which we have here is the Velma by QuickText AI. This is what Hyatt uses, and this deals with a lot of queries from the guests so that staff now have more time to focus on actually giving the guests a proper human experience. Now, when we go into robots, robots have been involved in the tourism industry for over 50 years, with the least sophisticated robots doing things like food prep in the kitchen, to more advanced robots actually coming to clean your room, coming to serve your food, even doing the self-checking kiosks. And an example of a self-checking kiosk is in the Henna Hotel here in Japan, which is the world's first fully automated hotel entirely run by robots. So they kind of giving homage to Jurassic Park here. So they put dinosaurs as the check-in assistants. So they change out their robots based on different themes. So the entire robot from check-in to kitchen to room cleaning, the entire hotel, sorry, from check-in to cleaning to kitchen, everything is run entirely by robots. And they have their own in-house AI system known as the Churi-chan AI. Now my colleague is going to touch on AI in travel.
AI has rapidly evolved into a core driver of innovation across the travel sector, transforming how visitors and tourists plan, book, and experience their journeys. With the rise of AI-powered travel bots, these tools offer personalized recommendations, ranging from destination-specific packing lists to complete trip itineraries. By automating these functions, AI significantly improve the efficiency of booking processes and reduce reliance on traditional travel agents. How many of you still use a travel agent to book your flights? Many of us now browse the internet to view destinations, to learn about their tourist attractions, and later book flights and hotels on popular travel platforms which we are familiar with, such as Expedia and Booking.com, which utilizes virtual assistants to identify the best deals, discounts, and recommendations. But while chatbots do not book flights or cruises directly, they can still be used to help travelers sort through information to find choices that are customized to your likes and my likes and to the likes of our pockets to which we could afford. Now, my colleague will finish the slide with AI insecurity.
So lastly, we're going to look at the AI applications for the area of tourism security. So these applications are designed to conduct facial recognition even in high traffic areas where they could profile guests and mitigate any future risks or danger and use these predictive analytics to forecast potential security threats and trends. An example I have here is the Lumana AI system, where they actually focus on monitoring body language so they could see if someone has any kind of violent intent. And of course, that AI system will then alert the authorities and they will go and mitigate that threat immediately. So this is something that has been rolled out in a few hotels worldwide. Now we will go into the opportunities of integrating AI globally, regionally, and locally.
Smart tourism is the use of information and communication technology to truly enhance the tourism experience. It involves leveraging technology like mobile devices, cloud computing, AI, and Internet of Things to make more efficient tourism resources and services. An example of this is VR tours that allows travelers to explore destinations remotely before visiting. Do you all remember the cabin fever that most of us would have experienced during COVID? Many of us would have utilized VR tours as a substitute for physical travel to simply break the monotony and visit remote destinations that you would have had on your bucket list. But what is needed for a smart tourism infrastructure to be functional? Smart tourism relies on a robust combination of both digital and physical infrastructure, including high-speed internet, smart energy grids, and intelligent transportation systems. Essential physical infrastructure includes intelligent and sustainable transport, such as electric charge stations and smart traffic management systems. Now, I'd like you all to focus on this slide in particular as I discuss. So, elements of intelligent and sustainable transportation is a blend of smart mobility, smart environment, and smart people. Smart buildings and facilities like hotel resorts and attractions that are energy efficient while leveraging smart grid technology are also a blend of smart living, smart government, smart economy, and smart environment. And waste management systems that are efficient and sustainable in high-density tourism areas are a blend of smart environment, smart living, smart government, and smart economy. While the digital side requires high-speed connectivity, which is essential for most, if not all, digital services, Smart platforms and systems also integrate and merge various tourism services, such as booking payments and information provision, whereas data analytics enables users to collect, analyze, and use data to have a better understanding of visitors' behavior preferences and to utilize this information to create a hyper-personalized package and improve the quality of services offered. Each of these areas discussed for the digital side could be seen as overlapping in this slide here. So now my colleague will discuss the regional and national opportunities for AI adoption.
Regionally, in a survey conducted by the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, AI adoption in the Caribbean is currently at 33%, with 30% considering utilizing it, and the next 37% have no interest in using AI. So compared to the rest of the world, our regional AI adoption is relatively low. However, there's still a regional shift towards adopting AI. The opportunities for AI integration in the Caribbean are very apparent, particularly in the international hotelier chains such as Marriott, Hilton, and Hyatt. So these hotels, they use AI to generate ideas for their marketing campaigns, to make information more available to visitors, and also to make hotel amenities more readily available to them via the click of a button. They also use AI tools such as recommendation systems, which work well for returning visitors. Because when visitors come back and they use their past bookings and budgets and their preferences from the previous visit, the hotel can now suggest in a better way what room type, what hotel amenities they might prefer, what tour operating activities they might want to go on, the different restaurants they might like. And the more they come back, the more data that's collected, the better this recommendation system becomes. So once hotels couple the predictive analytics and dynamic pricing systems with these recommendation systems and the marketing systems, it'll prepare packages that suit the needs of the customer and also help them allocate the necessary resources to facilitate these customers, which could also help in reducing waste and increasing the hotel's revenue. So an example, I have Lux Pricing here. This is a dynamic pricing system used by many hotels, which helps with giving the optimum pricing that would benefit both the hotels and the customer as well. And we have Sendin, which is the AI marketing tool. When we get talking in local Trinidad and Tobago now, Trinidad and Tobago's tourism industry has been very limited, showing very little growth over the last 20 years. So harnessing AI can revitalize Trinidad and Tobago's tourism industry and presents several opportunities. Two of these are the improving of customer service and the AI in tourism research. Now, the modern tourist is very selective and they place a high value on convenience and easy access to information. So AI-powered multilingual chatbots, virtual assistants, and mobile apps now could provide TNT with 24/7 access to information and help them facilitate bookings, have quick responses to queries in real time, and even more things that could be done, which will definitely improve the customer experience because we know in Trinidad and Tobago, a major issue we have is also having quick responsive queries. You reach out to someone and you have to wait however long to hear back from them. So so AI could help mitigate that, giving you 24/7 access to real-time responses. When it comes to AI in research now, AI could help fill multiple gaps when it comes to predictive data modeling, processing of historical documents and real-time data collection using the Internet of Things and the mobile apps. So this would enable for more accurate and timely research in areas such as disaster preparedness, crime statistics, public health, and sustainable tourism. Now we're going to touch on the challenges that impede AI integration.
AI technologies have become rooted in everyday life. Many of us use AI on social media to edit pictures, create attractive videos, or even automate processes. Or most times when you have burning questions, we simply plug it into our search engine for a quick response. But with the benefits, there's the misuse of AI. And this has shown us the risks that accompany rapid technological advancement. So a major issue of the use of AI is using it to enhance cyber attack capabilities. Now, with the widespread adoption of smart surveillance cameras, facial recognition tools, and other sensor-based technologies, individuals are now exposed to continuous data collection. While these systems can improve security and service delivery, they also introduce serious vulnerabilities. Information overload shows us that the growing volume of captured data creates the risk of a surplus in data making. And this causes it to become difficult to manage and protect sensitive information. So when personal data is misused, leaked, or accessed without consent, this represents a severe breach of privacy and security. Another concern is the lack of transparency in AI-enabled decision-making. So algorithms often operate as black boxes, which is a complex system or device whose internal workings are hidden. So this makes it quite difficult for users and regulators to understand how decisions are made. Issues such as misinformation, deepfakes, and socially engineered scams that mimic human voices are increasingly common. This complicates regulatory oversight and threatens public trust. So a recent example of this misuse was seen from OpenAI Sora. For those of you who are not familiar with OpenAI Sora, this app has the ability to make hyper-realistic videos of anybody. Deceased celebrities, historical figures, and they'll make videos in bizarre, often offensive scenarios. So an example of the misuse of this would have been with Dr. Martin Luther King's Jr. image that was misused for his well-known speech that he has a dream. And as a result of this, OpenAI has now banned the use of his image. And lastly, AI models also carry the risk of reinforcing biases. So because AI is trained on a large data set that often reflect current social inequalities, AI systems can unintentionally perpetuate discrimination. And it could happen in a myriad of situations. Now my colleague will touch on the other challenges in this slide.
So another major barrier is workforce readiness. Because as most of us know in this, and we see it in our workplaces all over, that there are often high levels of resistance to change. Every time a new system is implemented, it's met with complaints and pushback. Now, in the tourism industry, it is very heavily dependent on human labor. So this highlights the need for balanced integration where AI actually augments rather than replaces human roles. So that's why it's rather be transformative AI versus disruptive AI, because you really cannot expect employees to adopt an innovation which they believe is one day going to replace them entirely. Now, when it comes to developing an AI infrastructure, developing nations experience significant challenges because it requires a coordinated effort of all stakeholders, especially the government. So AI is not only a complex technology, but it's also a very costly one, demanding substantial investment, even at the most basic levels of implementation. So Trinidad and Tobago continuously operates in silos, and there's no continuity whenever leadership changes. So a lack of collaboration, along with a lack of continuity, makes AI integration that much more difficult. We also have the issue of collecting clean and high quality data, which is the backbone of an AI infrastructure. This has been historically a major challenge in developing countries just like Trinidad and Tobago. Several factors contribute to this issue, including fragmented data systems and limited digital record keeping across both public and private sectors. In many cases, the data is either unavailable, outdated, or stored in incompatible formats, making it difficult to use for training AI models. So overcoming these barriers will require investment in education, stakeholder collaboration, and clear governance structures to ensure ethical and equitable adoption. Now we're going to touch on the lessons learned from international tourism stakeholders.
So I'll be looking at 2 case studies here, and I'd really like to implore you all to focus on this. Hilton Worldwide has strategically implemented AI to help streamline internal processes, drive revenue growth, and enhance guest experiences. Hilton functions on IBM Watson technology. This is a computer system capable of answering questions posed in natural language. So Hilton's partnership with IBM has brought about something called Connie, a Watson-enabled AI robot, to do its concierge desk. Hilton has leveraged its AI capabilities to interact with guests in real time. Connie assists guests by providing information on local attractions, hotel services, and amenities using advanced natural language processing techniques. This not only speeds up the information delivery process, but also adds a futuristic touch to guest services. Now I'd like to focus on AI in revenue management for Hilton. So here's how AI is reshaping hotel revenue management and driving profitability with smarter insights for Hilton. Hilton's revenue team has integrated machine learning into central revenue management systems affecting many markets and properties. So with the help of machine learning, AI can segment customers based on their preferences, behavior, and purchase history. So what this would do for Hilton is it will personalize their pricing strategies for each customer and maximize revenue across a diverse guest profile. Now I'd like to touch on Marriott's AI experience. Marriott International has actively experimented with AI across its portfolio. Marriott has deployed AI chatbots and virtual concierges in its brand to enhance service and personalization. So I'd like to focus on one, Ren AI, which is their virtual concierge. Ren AI, which stands for Renaissance Artificial Intelligence, is associated with having a well-connected local who is available 24/7 to interact with guests straight from their smartphones. Ren AI represents the latest evolution of the brand's signature Navigator program, which connects hotel guests with handpicked local experiences from Renaissance navigators who would comb through restaurants, bars, entertainment venues, tours, and activities to ensure that hotel guests have the best experience. And AI-driven revenue management for Marriott. Marriott International implemented an AI-based revenue management system that optimizes pricing and improves forecasting accuracy. This data-driven approach allows Marriott to adjust their rates based on demand in real time and according to market trends. With this strategy, Marriott accomplished a notable 8 to 10% increase in revenue per available room and saw a higher occupancy rate during traditionally low demand periods. These improvements highlight the efficiency of AI-driven models in stabilizing revenue across different market conditions. Now my colleague will focus on the differences between transformative and disruptive AI.
As I mentioned earlier in the presentation, we need to make a very critical distinction between transformative and disruptive AI. Transformative AI enables systemic long-term improvements. It enhances the existing processes and fosters inclusivity by enabling improvements in efficiency, capability, and understanding across a wide range of domains. So an example of a transformative AI would be the same Velma AI that Hyatt utilizes, that particular chatbot. So Velma AI will deal with a majority of the queries from the guests and only queries that the AI cannot deal with, the staff themselves will deal with it. So you're giving the staff more time to focus on giving the guests themselves a much better human touch, a much better human experience. Also, Velma would provide reports for the hotel staff so they understand what are the main issues and what they correct for next time, so that would improve the guest experience going forward. So that is something that builds on what's already there and strengthens it for the future. Disruptive AI, on the other hand, that introduces abrupt changes that may destabilize the established systems and focus on creating new markets or just rendering the old technologies or practices just entirely obsolete. So an example of this is what my colleague would have previously mentioned with respect to the travel agents. So an AI travel assistant is effectively replacing travel agents, because AI travel assistants, they take your preferences and take your data and create a personalized package for you with flights, hotel rooms, what type of restaurants you might want to go to, what type of trips you might want to go on, what kind of clothes you may need to pack for this trip, things like that. And the more you use it, the more data it collects about you, the better it gets. So it's very easy to see how that will entirely replace the travel agent market, because just by the click of a button, putting in some information, the travel assistant could provide you with everything you need. So understanding the difference between disruptive and transformative AI is important for Trinidad and Tobago's tourism industry, because we need to elevate our visitor experience and strengthen research and sustainability, and also create new job categories rather than end up eliminating the currently existing ones. So in conclusion, artificial intelligence stands as both a challenge and an opportunity for Trinidad and Tobago's tourism sector. Globally, AI has enhanced efficiency, personalization, and sustainability in tourism. Regionally, its integration remains limited, yet promising. For Trinidad and Tobago, AI can drive modernization, innovation, and competitiveness if implemented thoughtfully. As the World Travel and Tourism Council reminds us, AI's value depends not on the technology itself, but on how societies choose to use it. Through collaboration, education, and ethical governance, Trinidad and Tobago can position itself as a leader in smart, sustainable Caribbean tourism. Thank you for your attention, and we welcome your questions and insights during the panel discussion.
Thank you so much, Ethan and Mandela, for that comprehensive and balanced presentation. It's quite evident that AI is no longer a future concept, but a present-day tool that can strengthen competitiveness across the Caribbean's tourism sector. I'm seeing a few questions as well in the chat, and as Mandela mentioned, it will be addressed during our panel discussion. Now we turn our attention to the next part of today's program. This young innovator has worked tirelessly to bring his ideas to life. Let's give him our full attention and support as he discusses his AR/VR framework for the development of e-commerce within the tourism sector. Please welcome our student presenter, Mr. Josiah Murray.
Thank you, Ms. Hector, and good morning to all. Once again, I am Josiah Murray, and I'm here to share a short peripheral directive of my innovation and its framework aimed to benefit the economy through tourism and more. First, I'd like you to linger on a thought. What if anybody anywhere in the world could experience and take a journey to the heart of the Caribbean for just 10 USD? The reality is that the typical flights to Trinidad range between $800 and $1,200, making this authentic cultural immersion in luxury for many. My vision is to bridge a gap between desire and access. Now, the challenges we now face in our economy depend on oil dependency, where 40% of our gross domestic product relies on declining oil reserves. And for some reason, our tourism gap, although we have one of the most electrifying cultural events in the world, only stems 67% of our GDP, while our regional peers such as Barbados 40%, and Jamaica 34%, their tourism actively helps in their economic growth. In addition, we are also disconnected from our foreign diaspora with over 500,000 Trinidadians who yearn for deeper cultural connections. Now, with the virtual spaces, global context is that the virtual market is exceeding $12 billion annually and is projected to increase 35% yearly. Now, let's talk about Carnival. On average, we tend to have 41,000 visitors a year. Yet, around this time, over 2 million people search the different browsers to try to understand, get prices, and attend this event. Our rich culture remains behind a large and unexpected gate of expenditure and is largely underexploited by the digital realm. Now, my innovation, something I like to call Trini Fusion Virtual. It's a platform leveraging cutting-edge technology to bring Trinidad and Tobago's vibrant culture to life. You can experience Trinidad's essence through cutting-edge virtual and augmented reality accessible anywhere globally using multiple platforms such as virtual reality headsets, smartphones, and computers for universal access. How it works? Well, it's 3 pillars of engagement. It allows full immersion into virtual tours of iconic landmarks, pristine beaches, electrifying festivals, and cultural events in real time from the comfort of your home. It also allows participation in enriching cultural education programs, hands-on workshops, and insightful masterclasses led by local artisans and esteemed historians. It also empowers the local economy due to its built-in digital and direct marketplace, enabling you to purchase authentic goods and services directly from Trinidad-based businesses, fostering economic growth. Now, its audience, who does this really benefit and focus on? It focuses on the 2 million plus potential tourists that would like to attend our festivals every year. Local businesses gain access to global markets, as well as the disconnected diaspora we have abroad, as well as to integrate school-wide learning into Caribbean culture through its geography and curriculum in school, such like the subjects we have in sixth form known as Caribbean Studies, allowing a more immersive and better understanding. Its business model hinges on subscriptions, which would be paid monthly depending on experiences, varying prices for specific events within the software, as well as an economic balance where 20% of commissions of all sales through the integrated marketplace would go into the foreign exchange reserves, while the rest goes to the local businesses, as well as B2B licenses allowing partnerships with schools, universities, and corporations for bulk access to our unique content. So why is this different than the usual virtual reality and augmented reality we have now? Well, they tend to be broad and shallow, only having passive viewing and lacking true immersion, as well as it only has generic content with limited cultural authenticity. While our software is deep and authentic, it provides an active, immersive participation, fostering a genuine connection. Locally created, culturally rooted content for an authentic experience, and features an integrated economic ecosystem directly supporting our economy. Now, its roadmap tends to be about for 3 years or a little more, with the first implementation dealing with content capture, the second with the beta launch, year 2 with the full test launch, and year 3 where you truly see the revenue coming in due to its solidification in the global presence. Now, beyond its economic impact, this software aims to preserve our heritage, create opportunities such as new tech jobs for the youth, connect the diaspora all around the world, and educate the world on our authentic Caribbean history and culture with a global audience. Now, this idea only goes further with enhanced features of artificial intelligence, which can expand from AI-powered personalization engines, virtual tours, guides, and cultural ambassadors, real-time AI translation, and AI content generation and enhancement. And I'd like to thank you for this short presentation. Thank you for listening. This is about augmenting the future through Trini Fusion Virtual. We're experiencing the rhythm of Trinidad, where every beat tells a story and every moment is a gift to share with the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Josiah, for that inspiring contribution. And I know we all can't wait to see this framework develop into an actual prototype, possibly an app, so we're all excited about that. So we are now going to move into our panel discussion featuring experts across tourism, technology, analytics, research. And our panelists include Dr. Oliana Poon. Dr. Poon is one of the world's foremost authorities on tourism and sustainable development, whose expertise has been sought in countries such as South Africa, Abu Dhabi, Singapore, Germany, Mozambique, and the entire English-speaking Caribbean. A trained economist, Oliana Poon graduated with a BA Honors and MSc Economics from the University of the West Indies, Trinidad, and a DPhil in Tourism and Technology from the University of Sussex, England, in 1988. She was the first person in the world to graduate with a doctorate in tourism and technology. Dr. Oliana Poon has led multidisciplinary technical teams in implementing the Euro 6 million ecotourism development program in Grenada and in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a pleasure to have you with us, Dr. Poon.
Thank you so much, Nihis. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Our next panelist is Mr. Leslie Lefouk. Leslie is a name of legends in the business world. His revolutionary digital transformation strategies and expert knowledge are unrivaled, making him one of the most sought-after figures on Caribbean shores. His career spans over 20 years with experience in analytics, robotics process automation, and artificial intelligence. Typically serving enterprise and government customers, he aspires to create a globally competitive region using data which positively impacts every Caribbean life. He was also named as an honorary speaker at the CTU's Prime Minister's Summit, which amassed over 100 leaders from across the region. Leslie believes that we all someday will become data citizens. He hopes to tap into the deeply creative nature of our Caribbean people so we can foster development in a community that highly sought after for its talent and expertise. Thank you for being here with us, Leslie.
Thank you, Candice. Morning, everybody.
Our next panel member, Mr. Ajmal Nazir. He's also a director at the TTMag and is a Caribbean tech entrepreneur and CEO of Taurus One, the company behind AutoCoder, a low-code platform accelerating digital transformation through automation, AI, and secure cloud solutions. He's also the founder of RedTouch, a cybersecurity and digital governance brand supporting organizations across the region. With expertise in COBIT, ISO 27001, and ISO 42001, Ajmal helps businesses strengthen their digital resilience while advancing modern IT governance practices. Passionate about digital inclusion and building regional tech capacity, he works closely with SMEs, enterprises, and public sector stakeholders to drive transformation and help bridge the digital divide in Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Nazir.
Thank you, Candace, and good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And you all will know Mr. Mandela Sealy and Ethan Blash from NIHIS's Policy Research and Intelligence Unit, who has been championing the integration of AI in the tourism sector. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you.
Good
Good morning
morning
again.
again. I'd also like to introduce to you Mr. Dave Gosine, or rather reintroduce Mr. Dave Gosine to you, who has graciously agreed to facilitate today's panel discussion. So just a reminder, questions can be placed both on the Zoom and YouTube chats. And we are also going to address those questions placed in the chat as it pertained to Mandela's and Ethan's presentation. I now hand you over to Mr. Gosine.
Thank you very much, Candice. And good morning, team. Good morning again to our viewers on YouTube and live here on Zoom. All right, what I will do, I based on the presentation, I just want to keep things in context, and I'll do it in the order of the presentations of being introduced here to the audience. So just the question to everyone is just your comments, your opening comments on this AI, harnessing AI in tourism. And I'll do it in the same order in which you have presented. Dr. Poon, 1 minute.
Good morning, and thank you very much. I think certainly the time has come. AI and tourism, technology and tourism, I think this is where it's heading. I realized a long time ago that our comparative advantages of sun, sand, and sea could be severely affected if we do not use the technology. We need to be innovation-oriented, inclusive-oriented, and to build sustainable development. I appreciate being here, and the theme and the topic is extremely important for us because we will not be able to survive the future if we do not integrate those new technologies of the future. Already, as we know, artificial intelligence in tourism was 3 billion in last year, 2024, and is expected to be 13 billion in the next 5 years. And of course, in 2033, it'll be worth 5 trillion. So if we do not get on board, we will be seriously losing it. And I'm happy that NIHIS is taking the plunge and doing the kinds of research that will certainly help our industry for the future.
Thank you very much, Dr. Poon. It's so great to have you here. Leslie, Mr. Leefook?
Hi, so morning, everybody. Happy to be here. Guys, before we jump in, love to ask you guys to give Mandela, Ethan, and Josiah a big round of applause for the work that they've been doing, guys. Phenomenal stuff. So good to see you know, the young folks coming up and do some amazing things. I'll just touch on one particular thing. So I just came back from Fiji, probably the biggest tourism brand in the world, arguably. And it's massive industry across there. But when I compare it to things that are happening within the territory, like we could easily compete with territories and brands like that. Interestingly, Josiah mentioned some stats around Carnival, for example. So who has, guys, put it in the chat, who has the best carnival in the world? I want to see what you guys think. Who has the best carnival in the world? Because what's interesting is absolutely, like I know Tobago, I don't know, Lisa. This is fight talk. But anyhow, so easily, guys, Trinidad has the best carnival in the world, but it depends on how you measure that, right? So what does success look like? So Brazil's carnival, right, which is massive, generates $2.4 billion. How much does our carnival generate? What do you guys think? I'll tell you, it's only a fraction. It's $95 million. So initiatives like we're talking about here, it takes our brand, our unique product, and makes it available to everybody else in the world. This is the opportunity in front of us. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Nazir?
Thank you, Dev. So absolutely, there is not a shadow of a doubt that AI is transforming all industries, and tourism is no different. it's important for us to act early and act quickly. So we start laying down the infrastructure that's needed, start putting in the foundations and the different layers so that innovative products can be developed and services can be offered. We still have some fundamental groundwork to be done. This is all based around data, either training the models or getting in, data. So when our current tourists are coming, whether it's for carnival or for other events, are we capturing enough data? Can we do more? And that is also going to act as a foundation in the future as we start to enable some of these AIs. But it all starts here. It starts with the discussions. It starts with the awareness. So this is a good start, and we look forward to building that infrastructure.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Naziru. Mr. Barge, opening comments?
Thanks again. So I'd like to say that we are at a point in time where we need to be very active and take the first bite before we lose that opportunity. There's a lot of information going around, so policy makers need to be mindful of this AI development, and it's not something that just emerged. It's been happening for quite some time. So we have the resources that we could exploit, and this is why we need to have active discussions at the table immediately so we could capitalize on this to benefit the economy now than later.
Okay, and Mr.
Yes,
Sleep.
thanks again.
Wonderful
Thank you.
presentation.
I would say for Trinidad and Tobago, compared to the other Caribbean islands, our CARICOM neighbors, our tourism industry is not as mature as theirs. We still have a lot of room for growth. So I think we are in a perfect position to actually now utilize AI and other innovations and pivot so that we could take full advantage of that, because for decades, we have not really invested heavily into our tourism infrastructure. So there's a lot that still needs to be done so we can actually now develop that infrastructure with AI and other technologies, and that could put us on a level at the same or above our neighbors.
Right. Okay, there's a question on the chat. Is there a local LLM being developed, already developed for Trinidad and Tobago by us? And I'm going to put a second part to that question. If there is, I mean, who is doing it and whatnot? What are the low-hanging fruits or quick wins that we could implement in the short term to enhance or harness AI in tourism? Anybody? I'll leave it open to the floor. Anybody?
So I'll tackle the first part. I mean, Mandela, Ethan, they covered a lot of the quick wins, and that's consistent with what I'm seeing across the board. But with regards to local, like the development of a local language model, largely unnecessary. So the technology it already exists. What is interesting though is this particular technology. We need to localize the technology and not reinvent the wheel. So the language models that are out there are already performing way above genius level IQs. How could we tap into the technology that exists? Because some of it is open source, and then localize it, because our parlance, the way that we communicate, the way that we speak is very unique to Trinidadians. And people, they're traveling today to experience local culture. So how could we repurpose some of that global technology for our own nuances?
Okay, wonderful.
Can I make
Yes, sure,
Yeah.
sure, Dr. Poole.
with regard to the low-hanging fruit, I would say that we need to realize that a lot of the data is there, globally at least. And when you talk about the Hiltons, the Marriotts, the Expedias, and the Airbnb, there's a lot of data. And they're working towards actually creating agentic AI where they can actually formulate and develop your own itinerary. But my question is, how do they find you? How do they find that that little roti shop somewhere where you can get lobster roti? Where do they find those things? So we have to start creating and adding our data so that those models could be trained on us. And we need to be systematic. We have authentic experiences, authentic people, authentic culture, but where are they? When is the next harvest in Tobago? Nobody knows. So unless we start systematically identifying and updating and uploading those experiences the little small ones that nobody thinks about, but that actually is the essence of tourism. When people choose a holiday, the last thing they think about is where they sleep. They think about what they're going to do, what they're going to experience. And I think this is where there's a lot of homework to be done, and there's a lot of people to do it. Who is going to fund it? Who is going to put it up? And who's going to make it happen? We started 5 years ago a platform called Exceptional Caribbean because we believe, we care, we understand that our Caribbean is the most amazing place to live, work, and play. So we've started churning out every single destination in the Caribbean, every single hotel, and we've started on some of these unique little experiences, whether it's Yaret and all of those things, but it needs to be packed. It needs to be more so that we could be findable, so that when next year, when Airbnb launches its digital concierge in 2026, they'll be able to find these unique experiences that could be combined with other stuff to create memorable experiences, which is what the Caribbean is really known for. Thank you.
Excellent. Yes, I love that. As you know, as you're talking about the experiences, I mean, I know we have the Blue Food Festival in Tobago, and I didn't hear anything much about it. And I spent half my life in Tobago, so you're very, very right. So what do you see, Dr. Poon, while you had that there, what emerging AI innovations do you foresee redefining tourism over the next 5 years?
I think there are four major ones. One of the first ones we need to look at is this whole idea of agentic AI. Now, most of us would have an assistant, an AI that helps us do certain things that we know what to do. But the agentic aspect of it is really critical because it's almost an agent working without your or my help, finding those resources and becoming our trusted partners. Because when you might go to a travel agent or somebody else or a specific airline, they're selling you their products. But people believe in the system because they are able independently to find you the best fares, the best prices, and the best everything. So it's becoming agentic. That's number one. Secondly, it's becoming multimodal. It means it's responding to voice, vision, text, and quite frankly, later on, I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking at taste and smell as well. So it's almost as if the AI can sense your emotional frustration. So even if you check into a chatbot and you're in a hotel and so, suppose the chatbot identifies that you're just either bored or frustrated and so, and they could recommend why not have a massage. So in other words, it's not only able to respond to text, but is able to respond to your emotion. The other important thing is the hyper-realistic generative content, and we've seen some of that with virtual reality, a fantastic project. And seeing these personal videos and people can actually see where they're going before they actually go there. So I think that's going to be extremely important. And of course, the last one is this AI being used for hyper efficiency. It is estimated that 175 hours per employee per year could be saved. I'm talking about 21 working days, 21.8 working days, or almost a month of everybody can be saved because of that. And just to say that it's not just about getting rid of employees, it's really about augmenting. And as Mandela said earlier on, it's really about encouraging people to be human and to deliver that human service instead of bothering about itinerary and this and that and the other and payment and all kinds of, you can really deliver what you need to deliver. So it's not replacement, but augmentation. So all of those effects are currently already transforming the way people look, book, experience, enjoy holidays everywhere.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Nazir, there's a question here for you from the chat. It's a two-pronged approach. How do you see AI supporting more personalized visitor journeys from first inquiry to post-trip engagement, especially in markets where manual follow-up is slow? That's the first part. The second part, what role does multi-stakeholder collaboration play in creating a safe and trusted digital environment for visitors engaging with AI-powered tourism services? Hope you got that. If you want, I can do it part for you.
Right. So let me tackle
Yeah,
the
like you
first
put you on the spot.
question.
I know you're capable.
Let me tackle the first question first. But just before I go on to that, just to add to what's already been said on the large language models, I totally agree. There's no need for us to try to create a new LLM just for Trinidad or the Caribbean. It's not easy. I'm not even sure whether we could do it. There are very good models already out there. We use them, we fine tune them. We just add in the additional data. It's a very expensive endeavor to train a large language model from scratch, and it's getting more expensive. I think the last count I saw, they were running up like 1.5 trillion parameters. That's a lot of processing power, which we just wouldn't have. Now, in terms of the question, how do I see the AI supporting more personalized visitor journeys? I think it's going to creep in. It's not something that overnight you're going to have a completely different experience. We're already seeing it. Example of what Dr. Poon was saying, that now when I'm booking my flights or I'm booking my hotels, the applications that I use or the websites that I use, I know they've got AI running in the background, and it learns about me. If I'm using the same application again and again, they get to figure out what I like, what I don't like, and the recommendations that they give or the predictions that they make are more and more accurate. So as more and more people start to use these, and there's two benefits. The initial driven is just easier, right? So, you give it a few instructions and it goes away and it saves you a lot of headache. But because it's got access to a lot of information, and more companies, whether it's Airbnb or whether it's the airlines, they are specifically introducing connectivity on their side through their websites or the back end of the websites, things like RAG and MCP that makes it easy for AI agents to interact and get that information from them. So I think over time, more and more people are going to start using it. It's just going to become a natural way of you planning your trips. In terms of follow-up, I agree. I'm a great believer that if you want to collect data, you want to do it in a passive way. Now, there is certain data that you can't collect in a passive way, and you have to ask either through a survey or specifically some way get feedback. But a lot of the data that currently we do ask directly can be collected in a passive way. A lot of that, I think, is going to be coming down to mobile first strategy. If you can get an application onto the mobile of the person that you're trying to collect data from, then you can track or collect that data. There are some privacy issues related to that, but there are also ways around it. So that's where I see that aspect going. It's going to creep in slowly but surely, and it's already creeping in.
Right. And the second question was, what role does
Remind me of the second
multi-stakeholder
question again.
collaboration play? Yeah, I'm reading it for you. What role
Right.
does multi-stakeholder collaboration play in creating a safe and trusted digital environment for visitors engaging with AI-powered tourism services?
Right. So, I mean, although we're talking about AI and tourism here, when you talk about AI and you're talking about the data, it is multi-stakeholder, it is multi-industry. If you're collecting the data on tourists coming here, it's not just for the tourism industry. I always say data loves data. So the more data that you collect, the more answers you can offer. So on a collaborative approach, I think multi-industry approach, where you're collecting data, or when one industry could be collecting data, but the other industries need to see how they can also leverage off that data or also add onto that data to make it more or to enrich it. So you can get more information out of it. You're not duplicating efforts, and it's open. I'm a great believer of open data, making it available to as many people, because the more people you make it available to, the more or the higher and quicker you're going to be able to utilize that data. There are a lot of innovative people out there. They just struggle to get access to the data.
Right.
Can I
Dr.
jump in?
Poon, I know
Yes.
you wanted to say something.
Starting with the whole point about multi-stakeholder, I would like to say that there are 365 ways in which any holiday can go wrong. And even in real time, stakeholders need to work together to connect and to ensure that that travel is as seamless as possible. So both on the data side, but I want to propose, especially on the real side, we need to be involved and connected, and we need to be very much interested in what quality our suppliers have compared to ours as well. But the point I want to make also is this whole issue of hyper-personalization. Now, we developed travel and tourism no different from the way Ford made his automobiles. It was mass, it was standardized, and it was rigidly packaged. You can get any automobile you wanted once it was black. It was standardized. People went to the same kinds of hotels, took the same charter flights, slept in the same hotel beds, wrote the same postcards, went on the same tours, slept in the hotel dining room. The point I want to make is that tourism and human beings were ill-suited to this whole mass production phase. Each one of us is individual, each one of us is special, each one of us is unique. So we were drawn into a whole, the third or fourth paradigm of this mass stuff, but we're not like that. Tourism, on the other hand, is very data intensive. Anything we do, whatever we think, whatever we feel, whatever we see, whatever we engage in, they are data points. So those two things coming together, the individualization and the technology making that possible, makes travel and tourism ideally suited for the applications of technology and artificial intelligence. But what artificial intelligence does is to create personalization, hyper-personalization at scale. In other words, you're not penalized for being an individual. And I think this is where we need to look at technology. And I want to say further that if we think for one moment that artificial intelligence is the answer, think again. What is a pain point? What is a problem we're trying to solve? And to what extent can technology and AI help us to solve it? So let me just stop there.
Yeah, so
Okay,
if I
thank
could
you very
jump
much.
in, if I could jump in. So
Yeah, sure,
yeah,
sure.
so Dr. Poon, I'll push back on you a little bit. I don't actually think that we're all that unique. And if you look fundamentally at how AI works today, it's the fact that it's collected so much data that we become predictable. So if we're genuinely that unique, we can't be that predictable. So the hyper personalization is because people are based on trends, people are based on patterns, and that's what makes hyper personalization so much more realistic for us in this new age. The interesting thing though is coming to the multi-stakeholder stuff, because we talked about utilizing trusted engagement with AI-powered tourism. So Ash mentioned something about passive data collection. I'm very cautious about that. What I like to think about is trusted data collection, because we know all these apps are capturing data on us and they're really doing it passively. But should they be doing it? What are the ethics around it? Where's all this data going? And sovereignty becomes a big play for all of this stuff. But even before we talk about AI-powered tourism, we need to talk back to Dr. Poon's position on the multi-stakeholder stuff. When somebody first lands in Piarco Airport and they realize, oh crap, I need to go fill out this very long immigration form. They're standing off to the side, everybody's passing them. It's a 45-minute wait before they even get to immigration. Then what's that customer experience going to look at? And I'm not saying AI is the answer for everything. I'm saying, but we need to all collaboratively work together, because immigration has a piece of it, customs has a piece of it, the telcos have a piece of it, the airline. One of the big reasons why people don't come to Trinidad, because it's exorbitant to come to Trinidad. I'll give you an example. I had to do an event in Bahamas recently, and I had to bring somebody from the US. They were in North Carolina. I was coming up from Trinidad. To get to Bahamas from Trinidad, it cost me $900 US. For them to go from North Carolina to Bahamas, it was $150 US. So the question becomes, where are the tourists going to go if we can't even get the flights right?
Fine. Very good point there, Mr. Lifu. All right, let me engage Mr. Blanche and Mr. Seeley.
Mhm.
You decide, or you could both answer. What policy recommendations would you offer to encourage responsible and effective AI use in the tourism sector?
Well, I know we have in terms of data collection, data collection policies internationally. I believe in Europe, they have the GDPR system. So we have to adopt I guess we could use that as a basis of how to properly protect people's data and to use that for, AI modeling and whatnot, because as we have seen in many cases, and just as Ethan would have mentioned, there's a lot of misuse of people's data. And now that we are coming to start utilizing AI within our industries, we don't want to end up in a situation where people's data is being misused for nefarious reasons or modeling things the wrong way. So we have to make sure and properly structure, I guess, based on strong systems like European GDPR system, which will properly protect people's data.
So
Okay.
I'll jump in there. So there's the GDPR, there's the AI Act, and all of these things. Now we would argue that there's no legislation locally, but the interesting thing about all this legislation and all this policy that exists, it's not based on the country that we operate in. So if a EU visitor comes to our shores, they stay in your hotel, they use your facilities, and you take their name, you take their email address and your phone number, and you write it down on a piece of paper, you are subject to EU regulation. You're subject to the EU Act, the GDPR and the AI Act, if you're using it for AI, of course. But it's important to realize that it's not really about compliance. It's more about trust in the long term. So if you are using your customers' data in an untrustworthy way, an unethical way, bet your bottom dollar, they will never do business with you again. So follow the international guidelines, because sooner or later we will probably adopt it as a yardstick, because that's what everybody else is doing. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. But ensure that you're using for your own organization success, using it in a trustworthy way.
Okay. Anybody want to have a comment before we move on to the next question from the floor? All right. To anyone on the panel, if you had to choose one area where AI could rapidly improve operational efficiency for tourism stakeholders in TNT by Q2 of 2026, what would it be? Let me repeat the question. If anyone in the panel, if you had to choose one area where AI could rapidly improve operational efficiency for tourism stakeholders in TNT by Q2 of 2026, what would it be? Anybody?
I would say that we need to start with data. You know that data is a new oil. Most of the international companies control that data, unfortunately. So when people come to you, either Hilton has the data or somebody else has the data. But I think, especially for these small, medium-sized operators, customers come to us, they find us. We never ask, how did they find us? What was their level of satisfaction? What did they like to do? What did they not like to do? And I think I would say, for every single tourism operator, start collecting and understanding that data of your customers. Because at the end of the day, you could never succeed in any business unless you totally understand that customer. That customer has to be number one priority. We need to understand them. We need to anticipate them. We need to satisfy them. We need to give them exceptional memories. But how can we do that if we don't know who they are? And a lot of data is just passing by that we don't collect because we're too probably lazy or we don't understand the value of it. But data is the new oil. We have to start refining it, mining it, and doing whatever we have. So that is the first thing I would say. Immediate, and that's immediate.
Dr. Poon, while you're talking about data and collecting the data and whatnot, people use ChatGPT, and one of the things about to use chatbots effectively is prompt engineering. So I was listening to you, and I'm thinking about a downstream industry with collecting data. What do we do with it? how do we use it? And maybe we need to train some of these entrepreneurs about what data to collect and how can we use it to make our businesses relevant and more efficient. So I've seen that as a training ground for future entrepreneurs and so on.
Thank you, Chair.
Um,
But I would say again, similar to my comment on multi-stakeholders, every single hotel that's operating in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean needs to start understanding, what are my clients coming for? How am I related to that tennis court or to the bird watching or to something else? How are we connected as a package, as an experience? No, but we sit there and let a taxi take them and whatever happens, happens. No. Let us start controlling that experience. Let us start working with our partners. Suppose someone wants to come and find out about Diwali outside of Diwali season. Who do we go to? That information, unfortunately, even our festivals, they're not available. You mentioned the Blue Food and so, but we have so many festivals in Trinidad and Tobago, including Carnival. We have so many people in Trinidad and Tobago who could deliver exceptional experiences. Who are they? Where are they? How do we involve them, integrate them? For example. But I
Right.
think they're missing the boat very seriously. As a matter of fact, in Trinidad, we don't even think tourism is important.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
only
think
because we have oil.
I think that's our main
Yeah.
issue. We don't
Yeah.
put a heavy importance on tourism at all because, as I say, we have oil, so we don't see tourism as an important revenue generating industry. And to touch on what Dr. Poon said with respect to developing a festival calendar throughout the year, I know the ministry is planning to do that, but we've seen like small calendars pop up from time to time, but nothing actually stuck. Like we interviewed them a couple of years ago with our tourism sectoral innovation mapping study, and we were talking about developing you having specific days for festivals every year, so you know, okay, the third Sunday of this
Yeah.
month is this particular event or something. I have that calendar perfectly
Yes.
done year after year, but it was never developed. I know they also plan to develop a database of all different stakeholders, tourism stakeholders within Trinidad and Tobago. However, nothing has really come of that. So I like the idea that you, Dr. Poon, had with gathering all the different stakeholders, tourism stakeholders, see what they offer and having that as a package, because that's something that the ministry should have been doing, but they haven't done it. Because that would make it so much easier for people to come to Trinidad and Tobago and say, okay, this person does this person does that. I want to be able to do this, that. If I like to do more bird watching, I could go to these stakeholders. If I like to do more hiking, I could do this. If I like this type of food, I could go there. But I know the Visit Trinidad website has a lot of things on it, but even the stakeholders themselves, they're very fragmented. Like I remember we interviewed somebody in Lopino. So they have a restaurant, but they're not even aware of all the farmers in Lopino. They don't even know what the farmers offer because they import their stuff from somewhere else. So the industry itself is just way too fragmented, and we need to get everything together. So, and that also comes back to gathering the particular data, understanding what people have, what they offer, what kind of data they gather, so that we can actually use all of that and create one solid package that we could all use to benefit the industry.
Right. Okay.
Correct.
I
Let me
just
comment
hold
on
on, hold on.
this.
I just want to hold your thought because I just got a message here. We have two more questions, but I want to pose it out to you all. Everybody get a maybe a 30 seconds chance to say something
Mhm.
that you think is you're most passionate about the tourism sector, AI, harnessing AI, or whatever it is. 30 seconds for every one of our panelists here. Dr. Poon, you were on the floor and I stopped you, so you go right ahead.
I think
With Poon.
we need to start with the customer. We need to understand that customer. Somebody asked, how can a small company start collecting data? Well, we operate a 7-suite property in Tobago, being Estate Villas, and we systematically collect the data, simply engaging with their clients. What did you like? What did you not like? And over time, the data collects itself. Yes, we're not Hilton with all of the hundreds of millions of guests, but start small and try to understand who is linked to this thing. Because we realize too that what we're not doing is achieving success in tourism because we think, somebody said silos, correct. Who are our neighbors? What do they offer? For example, do you know that in Tobago you could learn to make chocolate?
Yes. Yeah.
And all of
Chocolate
these
factory.
activities you can actually begin to do because you are linked and you relate and you help them to become world class. And when we talk festivals, what I would suggest, take 3 festivals, make them world class. You can't start with everything. How do we make Carnival world class or Diwali or whatever you want to call it? How do we make it world class? I'm talking about world class toilet facilities. Who we benchmark against? Who are the stakeholders? How do we link to the markets? How do we understand the markets? And then take another 3 and another 3 and another 3. So very soon you'll have all of your festivals, all of your people, and things start connecting. Thank you.
Mr. Lifu.
So what am I most excited about when it comes to tourism, and not even the AI in particular, is that I believe Trinidad has a very, very unique product. The experience in any other island is white sand, blue waters. But for example, you land in Piarco Airport, you drive to a hotel, and you still haven't seen a beach. It's the only island that exists in. And there's a unique opportunity for us to create products and services, experiences that are highly in demand. So absolutely 100% collect data, all of those things. That might be overwhelming for a lot of the folks here, especially smaller operators. What I would say though is a lot of us are largely waiting. We're waiting on somebody else to do something. We're pointing the finger at the ministry, the agency, at somebody else. I don't believe personally, I don't believe in political will. I believe politicians even are individuals. I believe in individual responsibility, and it starts with you and changing that mindset and all this stuff, as well as building capacity. So I'm big on education, training, and that stuff. And for the 56 folks that stayed back, I have a workshop coming up. I'm going to comp out a couple of seats. I put a link in the chat. If you guys want to get started with AI, jump in. It's $250 US. I'll give you guys free just for sticking around today.
Aj.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I agree to say what's already been said, but from a different angle. What I'm excited about is the rapid development of AI. It is getting easy, right? It's making it easier for a lot more people. The technical, let's say the barrier needed to get into innovation and using technology is dropping. It's not that it's completely going to get rid of the developers, but it is bringing that barrier down. It's getting cheaper, it's getting quicker. And with that, I think we are, or I'm certainly seeing a lot more people in Trinidad trying out things. And I think that's the main thing. Start to experiment. You're not going to get it right the first time around, but just start. You're going to learn. You're going to evolve. The AI space is evolving. You don't want to wait till the end when, everything's already been evolved. You want to get in now. You want to learn. You want to adapt. And you want to grow with it. So I think that's the opportunity. And also what I'm excited about is that there's a lot of people that are getting involved in it, and it is easy to get involved with.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. March.
So one of the things I'm most excited about is utilizing AI to improve customer service. Now, one of the things that I'm sure everybody is aware of, when you come into Trinidad, first point of contact, you go in the airport, you're dealing with immigration officers. You want to have an experience of when you come here, you feel welcome, you feel understood, and you feel as if you're going to get that electrifying experience. So when you come here, you don't want to know that you feel like, okay, you're misunderstood. For example, there would have been a situation where a deaf person would have had a bad experience with an immigration officer who took for granted a condition. If it was the other way around now, where that person was respectful, that experience that person will have been more positive and enlightening. So if we could integrate AI to smoothen things, make it a bit easier, allow people to be a bit more interactive with persons coming into the country, I think that will improve our customer service.
Okay, thank you very much. And just a little aside from that same person that you spoke about who had that terrible experience with that immigration officer, I actually met her in Tobago, and we had a little line together. And her view of the officer has changed. And she told me that she pardoned the officer for treating her that way because of her Tobago experience. So she's no longer not coming back. She will be back.
Right.
So just to set things right. Mr. Seeley, over to you.
Okay, so on top of using AI to improve, the customer service part of Trinidad and Tobago and the customer experience, I think that what I'm excited to see is how we could use AI to properly create a package to market Trinidad and Tobago. Because geographically, we have everything that most other countries have,
And
but in those countries, oh yeah, and more, yes, but those countries you have to drive 3-4 hours to get to those things. If you go Costa Rica, you're hiking one mountain and you want to go to the sulfur pools, it's a 3-4 hour drive. In Trinidad, I mean, you're hiking the northern range and you go south to the sulfur pools, you get there within an hour. Well, assuming there's no traffic, right? Once there's no traffic, you get there in a short space of time. We have the bird watching, we have the coral reefs, we have all these different things. We even have all the historical aspects. We have well, let's say the haunted tours and things that they're bringing about now, all these different things. So we could tap into so many different markets and so many different people who are interested in what we have to offer. So I'm really interested in seeing how AI could market Trinidad and Tobago to look at different select target markets, different niches, and how we could build on that to actually bring more people to Trinidad and Tobago.
Wonderful. All right. See somebody saying that unfortunately the positive. So thank you very much, panel. And just to comment on what Ethan had said with that unfortunate visitor, I have some videos with it. I'd love to share it around some positive feedback on her interaction and so on. I'd like to thank every one of you all. It has been a tremendous experience for me, and I'm sure it has been a tremendous experience for our audience. And while we may have 63 or 68 participants here, it is on YouTube, and I know it's going to be viewed. We're going to get quite in views in the thousands or tens of thousands because it's a lot of information was shared here by you all. And I would like to thank you all for your presence on this panel. Over to you, Candice, and thank you very much for inviting us. And I think based on what we have seen here today, maybe we need to have our next one. I don't know.
Sounds
If
good.
TPMAG is willing to share and collaborate with me, it was a pleasure, certainly.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gosain. And thank you to the panelists for such a rich and engaging discussion. And thanks to all on the call who shared questions and insights. As Mr. Gosain mentioned, the recordings are available on our YouTube page at NIHIS Trinidad and Tobago, should you wish to recap. You're also free to email marketing@nihis.gov.tt should you wish to make further contact with any one of our panel members. So as we close today's session, on behalf of NIHIST and the TTMAG, we sincerely thank you for joining, and we extend our gratitude and wish you all the best in your day ahead. Be safe.
Okay, Candice, what I will also do, I will share that video and photos with interaction with that young lady. So
I
maybe we
see.
could get I'll share it with you so you could probably add it to your production on the YouTube or wherever it is. I'll leave it up to you to do that because I think we're talking
Yes.
about tourism. It's not AI, but at least it's putting Trinidad in a positive light because after that interview, she want to come back. After Tobago, she
Mhm.
is coming
Yes,
back.
I recall the video. Yes,
Yes.
indeed. Certainly, I'll look out for it.
Oh,
Thanks so much, Mr.
certainly.
Gosain.
Thank you all.
Thank you to all. Take care.